Hello everyone, and welcome to this brief video that will just be going over the basics of using the university's learning platform, which is BREO. So most of you will not have your registration complete, so you won't actually have your username and password, but the university does use a single sign-on system. So the same username and password you use to access your email, to access the library resources, or to access eVision, where your results and transcripts are, will also be the same username and password you use to access BREO. So I'm going to log in under my account. There will be some things that will be slightly different from a student account, but many things will still appear the same. So once you log in, you arrive at the landing page, the institution page, and it's worth pointing out that there are actually quite a lot of useful things just on this first page. So many of these things here about external examiners and copying material over on units is relevant to staff rather than students. But under your logins, you will see a different set of announcements that will be relevant to you. And there are some here about handing in assignments. But really, it's underneath that has the range of links you need. So here, links to the library catalogue, to Discover, which is the portal for accessing academic literature and journal articles, guides to referencing, Study Hub, and there's a Pebble Pad and so on as well. So there's multiple ways to access all of these resources. You can go to lrweb.beds.ac.uk, or you can do a Google search. But if you are logging into BREO, you will find useful links directly on the landing page. Now, in terms of the course and unit material that you'll want to access, we'll first look at the course, which is known as organizations on BREO, or communities in some places. But this page will have your actual course community show. So on here is quite a few, but for you guys there should only be a handful. There should be exam information for students, which unless you have an exam coming up, can be safely ignored. But also, let's go into the level 4 associate project manager apprenticeship, the show for your course as a whole. So I'm going to go into student view here. So this will be what you will see when you log in. So this shell will stay with you throughout your course, or through that particular level of your course, and will stretch across units. So you won't find any academic material or lecture slides here. This isn't a place to find unit material, but as you can see here, you'll have your course timetable, your various handbooks, induction material if you're looking for the slides that we use in the induction material, and if it's relevant to you. So not all groups of apprentices will be taking the APM's PMQ exam, but if it is relevant, you'll also find PMQ sources here as well. If you're coming to my online drop-ins, then on the left hand side, just underneath the class register, you'll see a link here that says Blackboard Collaborate, and it will be here that if you click this drop down arrow, so right now it's just an organization room, but my drop-in sessions will appear. A link to my virtual drop-in sessions will appear here as well. So if you're attending classes on a Thursday, then it'll always be virtual. If you're coming on one of the Friday cohorts, then during the physical drop-ins, I'll be in HM18. Otherwise, it will be in your relevant course room that you'll find me logged in as well. Just a quick note, the calendar function on BREO is not hooked into the university calendar. So it will contain things which are already on BREO, so you'll find calendar dates for your assessments if the assessment's been set up, but it's not something which is used across the university. Okay. So that's the course shell itself. Your unit shells will be under the unit tab instead. I've got a lot of units on here, so if we just go to a unit shell which has been populated for a previous run of my contract and procurement unit, 2-1, sorry. And you'll see again a very similar look. So I'm just going to go into student preview as well. So you'll find the main content in the middle. So as soon as you enter into a shell, you'll have welcome folders and unit information folders and so on. So unit information folders in this case will have a link to the unit information form, which tells you all of the key information about the indicative content and the assessment of the unit. In this case is also a study guide and a FAQ. The folder entitled Your Study Program is where you'll find all of the actual unit learning material. So if we go into any given week here, you'll find in this case, because this was a virtual unit, pre-recorded lectures, lecture slides, worksheets, quizzes and reading here as well. So all of the actual learning material will be under Your Study Program. Assessment and feedback is where you will actually find the assessment briefs as well as the links to upload the assessment. So here we have the assessment brief, and then lower down you'll actually find the assessment submission link. So it's strongly advised to use either a laptop or desktop machine to upload assessments using BREO, as students have had problems in the past uploading from phones or mobile devices. However, it's quite straightforward. So again, it's worth just quickly going in and looking, and this is well overdue because it's an earlier show. And it's not actually letting. Oh no, down here you're able to view assessment, and then you can click through and actually upload the assessment as well. So that's the core content itself of the BREO shows. As before, if you look on the left, just underneath the class register, you have a Blackboard Collaborate link there, and you can click on Join Session, and you'll find either the course room, which is always open, or you'll find individual sessions listed there to join online sessions. And also is worth pointing out that if sessions are recorded, which not all sessions are recorded, it's a unit specific policy, you'll be able to find the link to the recordings as well on this left hand side. Just a few other things to say in terms of discussions. If your tutors are using discussions, the discussion function on BREO for that particular unit, you can click on discussions here and actually see all of the individual discussion boards you have. This is great for class discussions, is great for discussing specific things. It's not a good way of communicating with your tutors for anything which is time sensitive, because it doesn't actually notify us by email. So if you want to ask a specific question and you need to get an answer within a particular time frame, please don't use the discussion boards. Just go ahead and email your tutors, but use the discussion boards to actually discuss whatever topic or concept it's been designed to do. Gradebook is where you'll find your actual assessment scores. So this unit had a weekly activity log, but as well as in between this, you'll find the submission links for the actual assessments, which are here. So in this case, assessment 1 and assessment 2, and then once your work has been graded, you'll see the actual grade come up here as well under the gradebook. Most units will have only the assessed, the assignments links up here. So it is a much simpler thing to look through. In terms of communications, you have a messages tab up here as well, and there you can view individual messages. However, for the majority of units, announcements will be used instead, or as well as messages. So all announcements will appear in the Messages tab, but an easier way to access it is simply scroll down on the main screen, click through on announcements, and you'll see here a list of all the announcements made on the unit. For most units, for all units actually, really, announcements are also emailed to your student email accounts. So you should receive the emails with the announcement in there, but it's worth having access to the archive if you want to go through and just view past announcements as well. All right, brilliant. So it is nice and straightforward. It's not a bad platform at all. It's nice and responsive on mobile devices if you are going to use your tablet or phone to access BREO. But as with most kind of heavy websites or web apps, it's probably best to use a desktop or a laptop if you're going to be using it for any length of time. But once you're enrolled on the university system, and once you start accessing your unit shells for your first units, I'm sure you're going to become very familiar with it. Thanks everyone.